If you look at how a high-speed rail network operates, the logistics are, they're entirely unforgiving.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the dispatchers don't just put a train on the tracks, wave a flag, and hope it doesn't collide with anything. They monitor voltage, track friction.
Maximum speed tolerances.
Right, all of it in real time. It is a system built entirely on rigorous, inescapable math.
Which is how it have to be.
Exactly. But for the longest time, the world of B2B channel marketing has operated way more like, I don't know, a social club?
Yeah, totally. Lots of handshakes and good vibes.
Right. Like, we've built these massive revenue engines out of maybe a nice steak dinner, just, crossing our fingers that the pipeline somehow actually makes it to the station.
Yeah, just hoping for the best.
Which is wild when you think about it. Anyway, before we get into why that's all changing, I need to share this. This episode is provided by Thomas Allgeier and Frennis, based on the most relevant LinkedIn posts about channel marketing in calendar weeks 15 and 16. Frennis is a B2B market research partner helping ICT and tech providers identify niche channel partners by compressing the full journey from identification to qualified first meeting into 4 to 5 weeks. You can find more info in the description.
So setting expectations for this deep dive, we are looking at the top channel marketing trends seen across LinkedIn, specifically from calendar weeks 15 and 16.
Yeah, and the mission here is really just to cut straight through all that B2B noise. We want to unpack the actual mechanics of what is working for channel marketing right now.
Right, no fluff. We are pulling high signal insights directly from the people engineering these shifts on the ground.
So for you listening, we're basically clustering these insights into 4 main themes today.
Yeah, we've got revenue discipline in channel marketing, how hyperscalers are tightening their ecosystem execution, the way AI is reshaping partner models, and finally, how partner marketing is becoming a true growth engine.
Sounds like a packed deep dive. Let's start with theme 1, because that shift from relationship building to rigorous math-driven operations, it requires a completely new internal architecture.
It really does. It's a fundamental rewrite of the playbook. I was reading some thoughts from Rob Moyer on this, and he framed the transition perfectly. He says partner teams basically need to move into what he calls operator mode.
Operator mode, I like that. What does that actually look like in practice, though?
Well, it means instituting actual finance-grade rigor into your channel program. So we were talking about deep CRM engineering.
Oh, meaning finally ditching those disparate, messy spreadsheets.
Exactly. If you want your finance team to actually twist your numbers, you have to build custom objects in Salesforce or HubSpot.
Right, something that specifically ties partner activities to standard revenue metrics.
Yes, and Moyer points out that operator mode also means adopting structured POD models.
Okay, wait, POD models like breaking down the silos?
Yeah, instead of a partner manager just working on an island, isolated from a marketer and an account executive, you build a cross-functional squad. That's the POD.
Yeah.
And they own a specific revenue outcome together.
So they are measured on the final transaction, not just their, individual inputs.
Precisely. Which Jamie Eric actually touched on recently. She highlighted a major symptom of why measuring those isolated inputs is so dangerous.
Oh, I saw this one. She was talking about confusing engagement with actual pipeline, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is incredibly common for a team to count a co-marketing webinar as a sourcing signal, or they'll look at a casual Slack message from a partner about a target logo and log it as an active opportunity.
Which is insane. Eric argued that forecasting partner revenue based on a general mood or vague signals is essentially just a hallucination.
A hallucination, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You need actual activity math, like X partners touching Y accounts converting at a precise Z%.
Right. It strips away that illusion of progress.
Yeah.
Because a log portal login or a downloaded PDF that does not pay the bills.
No, it definitely doesn't. But, okay, when you establish that baseline math, you do run into another structural issue.
What's that?
Well, in the traditional SaaS world, you have the concept of the minimum viable product, right? You test it before you scale it.
Sure, yeah.
But in partnerships, companies have historically done the exact opposite.
Oh, you mean the invest first, validate later trap?
Exactly. They sign a partner, drop massive amounts of upfront capital to build these sprawling joint go-to-market plans, and then they spend a year just hoping to validate it.
Which is a huge financial risk.
Massive. So if you have that rigorous activity math Eric is talking about, you should be able to spot an underperforming partnership immediately.
Right.
So my thought here is, why not run these partnerships more like performance marketing? Like, start with a tiny budget and only allocate resources to the partners who actually prove they can hit that Z% conversion rate early on.
Well, that is precisely the framework Akriti Srivastava is advocating for. She actually calls it the minimum viable partnerships approach, or MVP.
MVP for partnerships. I love that.
Right. So before you build the elaborate co-marketing engine, you test pipeline generation on just one or two real deals.
You force the mechanics to prove themselves in the wild.
Exactly. Can this partner actually navigate a procurement cycle with your product? Does their technical team really understand the integration?
So you validate those mechanics on a microscale first.
Yeah, and you only commit broad resources after the math checks out.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say you do all of this. You build the custom CRM objects, enforce the activity math, run the MVP test on 2 deals, and the partner proves they can generate pipeline.
Okay, sounds good so far.
I still see situations where those validated motions suddenly drift and then just die 6 months later. If the math is solid and the test worked, what breaks the machine?
That's a great question. Orlando Nato actually mapped out the anatomy of these failures. And his answer is that they die in the middle.
The middle?
Yeah, like partner motions almost never fail during the exciting introductory phase when everyone is designing the strategy.
Right, the honeymoon phase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they rarely fail at the very end when the contract is sitting on the procurement desk. They die in the handoff phase.
Oh, I see. The space between the partner generating the lead and the internal sales team actually working it.
Yes. The friction in that handoff just absorbs all the momentum. Nato points out that in the middle of a deal, nobody clearly answers who drives the next step.
Like who specifically schedules the technical discovery call.
Right. Who owns the joint account plan? Without a rigidly defined inspection cadence where both organizations review the pipeline weekly, the motion just quietly stalls out.
The AE assumes the partner is handling it. The partner assumes the AE is handling it.
And the prospect just goes silent.
Wow. Yeah, which means mapping out internal execution is critical. But, and this is a big but, even if you perfectly engineer that internal middle phase, it doesn't matter if the platform you're building on suddenly changes its physical laws.
Which is our second theme.
Exactly. The hyperscalers tightening ecosystem execution. The biggest players in the game, AWS, Microsoft, Google Cloud, they are completely changing the rules of engagement. They are demanding hard proof over just, capability promises.
You really are.
Yeah.
Latif Hamlani shared a massive update regarding AWS that illustrates this perfectly.
Oh, the 2026 update.
Yes. Looking ahead to 2026, AWS is instituting a new requirement just for partners to renew a specialization. Historically, maintaining a specialization just meant keeping your technical certs up to date.
Right, passing foundational reviews, taking exams.
Exactly. But now, AWS is requiring partners to have launched ACE opportunities. That's the APN Customer Engagements platform linked directly to specific solutions.
Wait, really? So passing the technical exam doesn't guarantee your status anymore?
Yep.
If you aren't driving active pipeline through their specific portal, you lose your badge.
You lose the specialization, you lose visibility in the Partner Solutions Finder, and you lose access to crucial marketplace co-sell benefits.
That is brutal.
As Hamlani noted, proof is replacing promises. AWS wants consumption, not just logos on a website.
Which honestly feels like a massive stick to use against resource-strapped independent software vendors. Is it even fair that hyperscalers are suddenly moving the goalposts on ISVs like that?
It's tough. But there is an equally massive carrot driving this, which is the sheer speed of cloud marketplaces.
Okay, fair point. Daniel Baselik and John Hakim have been pushing these AWS Marketplace boot camps, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those boot camps are aimed at getting SaaS companies from a standalone solution to a live transactable listing in a single day.
A single day. The underlying mechanics of why that matters are just fascinating. Hakim notes that having a live listing can cut enterprise sales cycles by up to 50%.
Because you are fundamentally changing the procurement motion. You are no longer asking a CIO for a net new budget.
You're tapping into what they've already committed to spend.
Exactly. And over in the Microsoft ecosystem, we're seeing the same push. Silicon Valerie Bertel is championing a platform called WeTransact.
To unblock Microsoft Marketplace publishing for founders, right?
Yeah, cutting the time to publish down to literally hours.
And Bertel points out something crucial. Microsoft has hundreds of billions in commercial remaining performance obligations.
Okay, which is a highly technical term for what is essentially a massive expiring gift card.
That's a great way to put it. Enterprise customers have pre-committed to spending billions on Microsoft Azure. So if an ISV can list their software on the Microsoft Marketplace, the customer can buy that software using their pre-committed Azure budget.
It completely bypasses traditional vendor onboarding because the customer already have a billing relationship with Microsoft. Right. But this brings up a crucial tension. We just discussed how hyperscalers are making it harder to maintain partner status while simultaneously making it faster to list and transact.
It feels like a contradiction.
It does. But Chuck Kiesling explained the underlying architecture of this contradiction with his concept of the invisible algorithm.
Ah, right. Which implies the hyperscalers are essentially functioning like a search engine now.
Actually, more like a credit bureau.
A credit bureau? How so?
Microsoft and AWS no longer employ armies of partner managers to manually discover great software tools. They surface partners algorithmically based on transaction signals.
Like a modern credit score.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how great your software is or how many technical certs you hold. If you don't have a history of co-sell motions, marketplace activity, and clean partner center hygiene, the algorithm will not issue you the loan of visibility.
Wow. So if you have no commercial signals, you remain entirely invisible to the hyperscalers' internal sales teams.
Yep. They are moving the goalposts because they are optimizing for algorithmic scale. They're sifting through the noise to find the partners who are actually driving cloud consumption.
And the reason they are so aggressively clearing the deck right now, they are preparing their ecosystems for the next major compute wave. Which brings us to theme 3. AI reshaping partner models.
Oh, this is massive.
Yeah, the underlying economics of partnering are being fundamentally altered. We are seeing AI move past the buzzword phase and into the actual structural design of partner programs.
Sagar T observed a highly revealing pivot at Salesforce regarding this.
What's Salesforce doing?
Well, historically, Salesforce evaluated its consulting partners heavily based on the volume of standard implementations, right?
Yeah.
And the number of technical certs their staff held.
The incentive was basically just to rack up billable hours setting up the CRM.
Exactly. But now Salesforce is rapidly shifting focus toward driving actual customer outcomes using Agentforce and data automation.
Which completely changes the revenue model for the partner. I mean, if AI can automate the standard setup of a CRM, the partner can no longer bill hundreds of hours for basic implementation.
Exactly. And Chris Samila highlighted that Salesforce is actively backing this transition. They have a $50 million Builders Initiative, and they're launching Agent Exchange.
So they are actively funding partners to build autonomous agents rather than just implement static software.
Yes. And we are seeing an even more dramatic structural evolution over in the HubSpot ecosystem.
Oh, Connor Jeffers prediction, right.
Yeah, Jeffers predicts a massive split in how agencies operate. Because before AI, building a custom application or a complex integration required a huge team of developers, expensive hosting.
Constant maintenance. It was a massive barrier to entry.
Right. But because AI radically lowers the cost and complexity of writing code, Jeffers sees the rise of a new activation-focused model.
He compares it to the traditional MSP, right? The managed service provider model.
Yes, but applied to marketing and sales operations. In this new model, the hard line between buying software and hiring a service agency dissolves.
That's fascinating. So partners will license a common core of software, like HubSpot, and then use AI to rapidly build highly customized, multi-user SaaS offerings on top of it for their clients.
Exactly. The agency transitions from billing hourly retainers to charging a continuous subscription for a customized software and service blend.
That expands their total addressable market immensely, but it also creates an incredible operational strain.
Oh, for sure.
My concern looking at this shift is that ecosystem leaders are just handing their teams these incredibly powerful experimental AI tools, but without any blueprints.
Like giving someone a power tool but no instructions.
Exactly. How do you actually get a partner manager to adopt AI to build these custom workflows rather than just, playing with a chatbot for 2 weeks and then reverting to their old manual habits?
This is the exact friction point that separates theoretical AI from revenue-generating AI. And Teresa Cargill shared a brilliant framework for solving this.
What does she suggest?
She states that AI adoption fails across partner teams because leadership never builds the bridge to the 9 a.m. on Tuesday workflow.
Meaning, how does this actually help me do my job right now?
Precisely. Training programs usually focus on generic capabilities, like showing a partner team how a large language model works. But as Cargill points out, AI makes a great analyst and a terrible change agent.
Right. You can't just hand them a theoretical slide deck.
No. To get real behavior change, you have to sit down with a partner manager and generate a working output in the first 30 minutes that solves an immediate pain point.
Do you have an example of what that looks like?
Yeah, so you show them how to use AI to instantly analyze a partner's annual report and generate the exact questions they need to ask in their upcoming quarterly business review.
Oh, wow. So you anchor the technology to the mundane reality of their specific role.
Exactly.
Which brings us to theme 4, partner marketing as a growth engine and ecosystem fragmentation. Because the people tasked with fueling this entire engine are the marketing professionals.
And their jobs are completely changing.
Right. If the partner model is shifting toward rigorous math, algorithmic visibility, and AI-driven MSP services, then the traditional partner marketing playbook is entirely obsolete.
And the clearest evidence of that obsolescence is around market development funds, or MDF.
Oh, man, MDF.
Yeah. Heather K. Margolis and Christina Carstensen brought up a staggering reality about MDF programs. Over 50% of this budget is routinely left unspent by partners.
Wait, half of the budget allocated to generate revenue is just abandoned?
Yep.
The friction to claim it must be way higher than the perceived value.
That is exactly the mechanism at play. Partners simply lack the dedicated marketing resources and the bandwidth to navigate a vendor's complex portal, write a comprehensive business plan, and execute a campaign within a strict 90-day cycle.
Right, and the historical vendor solution to this was just providing a campaign in a box, a folder full of generic email templates and PDFs.
Which Margolis argues needs to be permanently retired, because it requires the partner to still do all the heavy lifting of execution.
So what's the modern fix?
Shifting to turnkey, AI-enhanced programs with guaranteed outcomes. Instead of offering funds, the vendor offers guaranteed leads or event attendees. The vendor handles the actual mechanical execution on the back end while allowing the partner to adapt the local messaging.
Which requires the vendor to stop relying on isolated tactics. Ricky Courier laid out a fantastic framework for what a functional partner marketing plan looks like now.
What's his take?
He points out that if your strategy starts and ends with, let's run a joint webinar, you are already losing. You have to engineer a connected engine that orchestrates signals.
How did that orchestration look in practice, though?
Well, instead of a standalone webinar, you treat the webinar as a signal generator. You orchestrate the event, but you tie the registration data into a central narrative hub.
Okay, making it part of a larger story.
Right. Then you apply ongoing automated nurture context to the attendees based on their engagement, and then you focus on account expansion. You pass those signals directly to the partner's sales POD so they can map out the rest of the buying committee at that specific account.
So you are engineering how the pieces work together to surround a buying team rather than just throwing a spreadsheet of isolated leads over the fence.
Exactly.
That level of orchestration is incredibly powerful, but David Huber issued a vital structural warning regarding this approach.
Oh, what's the warning?
That highly engineered marketing motion will completely fail if you attempt to apply a one-size-fits-all playbook across your ecosystem, because all partners do not monetize in the same way.
Right. The economic incentives are completely fractured.
Huber breaks this down beautifully. Global system integrators, or GSIs, they create value by monetizing large-scale, multi-year digital transformations.
So they prioritize massive services revenue over small software referral fees.
Exactly. MSPs, on the other hand, require multi-tenant capabilities, so they can manage dozens of clients from one dashboard, and they survive on recurring margin. And then ISVs scale through deep product alignment and integrated tech stories.
It's completely different models.
Right. So Huber warns that if you treat a GSI like a standard reseller, they will simply neglect your product. If you treat an MSP like an ISV, your program requirements just look like expensive overhead to them.
So the companies actually winning are building differentiated, customized value chains for each partner type, not just running a generic program.
Yes. You have to engineer the architecture to support the specific load it needs to carry.
Going back to our intro, a high-speed rail line requires different engineering than a local freight track.
Exactly, which leads directly into the broader reality of where B2B revenue is heading for our outro. Sugata Sanyal shared an insight that synthesizes this entire landscape.
Sanyal always has great high-level views. What did he say?
He noted that right now, the market is treating enterprise AI like a single-player game. Like, we imagine one person using an AI agent to do a discrete task faster, but B2B revenue is inherently multiplayer.
Oh, that's such a good point. You are coordinating software vendors, cloud marketplaces, specialized integration partners, regional distributors, all just to close a single enterprise deal.
Across multiple geographies and compliance frameworks, yeah. Sanyal points out that specific AI features will inevitably commoditize. The exact AI tool you think is a massive differentiator today will just be a standard baseline feature tomorrow.
But coordination compounds over time.
Yes, the specific AI capabilities that will truly drive the market in 18 months haven't even shipped yet, but your partner ecosystem, that intricate network of financial trust, technical integrations, and multi-party workflows that cannot be instantly rebuilt or replicated by a competitor.
So the ultimate competitive moat is not the AI tool you select. It is the coordination layer you engineer across your ecosystem.
Exactly. That coordination layer is the moat.
But it makes you wonder about the humans running that layer. If AI eventually automates the execution of these complex multiplayer partner ecosystems.
Right, like if it can instantly translate a GSI playbook into an MSP playbook.
Yeah, or autonomously clear that friction in the middle of a deal we talked about. Do the separate roles of partner manager and channel marketer simply merge?
Wow.
Are we looking at the rise of a single ecosystem engineer within the next 5 years who just manages the algorithmic output? It is definitely something to think about for you listening as you review your own tech stack and team structure this week.
That is a fascinating thought to leave on.
If you enjoyed this episode, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on account-based marketing, field marketing, AI, and B2B marketing, MarTech, go-to-market, and social selling.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an insight, and we will catch you on the next one.
Keep focusing on the math, and we will see you next time.